also just resend the link for anybody who would like to send some questions through the form, but also if anybody would like to ask directly, of course, you just need to signal that through unmuting or raising your hand. Inshallah, we can do that too. I'll start right away with the first question that we had from the last time. There were just a few, I believe. Here we go. So here it says, with the case of the Jewish tribe mentioned in the webinar, so these are fresh questions. Would the case of the Jewish tribe mentioned in the webinar not apply to our times and people who follow secular ideas or Christian ideas instead while being Muslim?
If there is something legislated in Islam and it's obligatory in Islam and they do the opposite, that's different, yes. But if there is something that Islam is silent about it or doesn't have obligatory ruling, and they do it not as a religion, they do it as a secular way, that's fine. But if they want to say that this is my religious practice, then it becomes bid'ah. Yeah. So for example, I can choose a particular color for my door, my car, my walls. I can choose. But if I say this is my religious color, this becomes bid'ah, because you cannot introduce something that you have chosen as religious, as Islamic. Anything that you say it's religious or Islamic must have a reference. So if people do something against Islamic obligatory rulings, this problem. Or it is not against obligatory ruling, because there is no ruling here, or there is a ruling but it's not obligatory. If they do something here and they don't do it as a religious practice, it's fine, unless it involves references to some polytheistic ideas, and this reference is known and is acknowledged, because some customs maybe 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, were done by polytheists, but no longer now considers them as a polytheistic practice. So here I think it's okay. Of course, you have to refer to marja, but this seems okay, because no one today would understand it that way. So you have to consider several things. First, does Islam have any obligatory ruling here or not? 2, do they do it as Islamic or religious practice or not? 3rd, what they do doesn't have elements which are rejected by Islam or not. If these things are not there, it's fine. For example, celebrating for birthday celebration, maybe we don't have any advice about this, maybe, although some people maybe say, when we celebrate, for example, birth of the Prophet, maybe we can generalize, etc. But it seems that at least right now in my mind, I don't remember any instruction that you should celebrate birthdays for yourself or children. It seems that at least right now I don't remember. But if people do it, Islam is not against it. they can do it. But if they say we do it as Islamic practice, no, it's a problem. But if they want to do it, there's no problem here. Actually, it can be a sign of gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has given us this child, we are grateful, to be happy, to bring, friends, family members together. It's not a problem. Yes, if they do israf, if they do haram things like mahram, no mahram, shaking hand, or I don't know, or dancing, or these things, of course these are additional, these are problems that should be avoided. So something can be new or secular, but Islam is not against it. But something that they were doing was different. They were in the time of the Prophet, what these people were doing, as Ibn Abbas says, is that they were doing something against teachings of Islam or instructions of this Islam, and they were doing this as a religious practice. So this is the difference.
Thank you, Sheikh, for
You're
answering
welcome.
that with all of his different branches.
Yes.
We have a few questions, so I'll try to take it through as much as I can, and please let me know how we're doing with time. From the last time we had 1, 2, 3 questions, and from this time we have 3 questions left. So maybe we try to take 2 and 2.
So how many questions are remaining from last
time? 3, and 3 from this time.
I see.
Are there. Inshallah, I will start with the ones that are more up to date, as you had requested previously. So this one is a technical question. It says, although it's not directly related, I will put this one that's more directly related. So it says, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
It seems that the high standards we have, plus, this is a long question, so I have to read it as it is. It seems the high standards we have, plus all the propaganda stereotypes added to them, the cultural ideas of how things should be, and some imaginary ideas, in addition to not being taught about real life, real humans, real crises, all of this together is very harsh and difficult on our people. So they end up either becoming neurotics, in the word of the question, from trying very hard to fit all the imaginary standards and roles, or hypocrites matching those roles for people only, or giving up completely, or accepting low standards, or leaving Islam. So people respond to this in different ways. So the question would be, how do we grow this ability to first know what are real ideals and what are stereotypes, and then move towards those ideals in a gentle manner that doesn't destroy us psychologically or spiritually? And how do we protect ourselves when other people try to apply those standards and stereotypes to us?
Yes, very, very good question, and this is what we are trying to do through all these activities, to understand and introduce pure Islam, nothing less, nothing more. We cannot reduce anything from Islam, we cannot add anything. Some people think if we add, it's okay, because we are not reducing. But even to add is the problem. You cannot add from yourself or your culture something to Islam and then ask people to observe it. So this needs education, this needs to increase our knowledge based on the legacy and the inheritance that we have from our scholars. For ourselves, for other people, it takes time, but it's possible, and we need to do this.
Thank you. The next question was about unity with in a divided ummah. To what extent are we supposed to maintain good relations with people who divide the community? Do we maintain friendship without discussing religious differences, as that can cause a danger if our kids are growing up together? For example, if we don't distance, the last part is a little bit mixed in, but the main question is to what extent are we supposed to maintain good relations with people who divide the community, and do we avoid certain subjects, especially in light of the children who are seeing this and experiencing this as well in different ways?
We talked about it before, and inshallah we'll talk about it later. For example, how much Amir al-Mu'minin tried for unity of Ummah? 25 years of severe, patience. صبرت في العين قضى وفي الحلق الشجر. So I think there is no limit in what we have to do for unity. Just the main thing is that we should always make sure that what we are doing is wise, not that sometimes we keep good or make good relation with people who are dividing, and this is then making them encouraged to do more, for example, or we are seen by other people as collaborating with them, etc. I'm not saying if people think that way you have to stop, because sometimes still you have to continue, because some people don't understand your strategic plans. But anyway, you have to assess the situation and assess what is better for unity. Continuing your relation with them in public and private, or just, for example, in private, keep your relation with them, or stop your relation altogether, or for some time, or reduce your relation. There are different measures that, depending on the case, might be used.
Perhaps, Sheikh, the last question today. Some people are saying that first we should have ittihad bin al-mu'mineen, then we have ittihad bin al-muslimin. Is this correct or not, or are they both the same with regards to unity?
Yeah, Ayatollah Jawadi talks about unity among Ummah altogether, although I think he would be happy if we say in this way, that we have to work for unity in all grounds. Unity inside the family, unity inside our local community, unity inside our national community, unity worldwide, unity of Shia, unity of Shia and Sunni, unity of Shia, Sunni and Christians, and Abrahamic faith, for example. So all these grounds of unity should be utilized, and we should build unity upon all these grounds. Then you may ask, which one is more important to prioritize? If you have to choose, of course, I think priority is with those who are closer, inside the family, for example, inside our local community, unity among the Shia community, if you have to choose. But many times you have to work in parallel, because it's not that day and night you can do something for unity of the Shia. Plus, unity of the Shia would not be successful if we don't work for unity with Muslims or with Christian. We have to work, like you have a garden, and this garden has different parts. You have different flowers, you have fruit trees, you have different things. You have to feed and water all these parts of your garden. You cannot say, for 6 months or 6 years I only look after my flowers, then when I finish this I go to my trees. By that time those trees are dried, and then the whole garden will be damaged. So we have to work in parallel. Of course, if we act as a team, then it's good that if we have, for example, say 10 scholars in our region or 10 centers or 100 Muslims, for example, Shia Muslims, for example, maybe then we can also specialize. Say, okay, out of these 10 scholars, some work with the Sunni brothers, some work with the Christians, some work with the seculars. Maybe we can divide and distribute the task. But as a person, you have to have interest and concern for all these areas.
Thank you, Sheikh, so much for all this insight on these questions that are so
Alhamdulillah.
important. Alhamdulillah. So we have a few left, but